Hey, and welcome back. This is Astrological Intentions, episode 19.
Wow, 19.
We are unlocking the Stargate, and who better to unlock the Stargate with than me, your host, Alex Rueve, as well as the Stargate queen, Sandy Rueve.
I'm here right now. It's Tuesday, November 20th.
So we have coming up in the transits, Sun moves into Sagittarius.
Thanks for the gifts.
Neptune stations direct.
Which dreams are real?
Jupiter cazimi the Sun.
Take on the week.
Mercury Retrograde square Mars.
Don't be harsh.
Mercury Retrograde cazimi the Sun.
Rest and recuperate.
Mars sextile Saturn.
Act sensibly.
Mercury Retrograde conjunct Jupiter.
Your big thoughts, beliefs, and discussions.
So if you haven't picked up yet, it is a big week.
Especially Tuesday, the 27th.
Yes. And we also have coming up in the Talisman Times.
We have 6 times coming up. We're pulling in the Venus Spica for divine blessing. We're pulling in Sunday, the 25th, to shine on stage as a bold leader. The 27th, to allow the subconscious to work its magic. The 27th, to imagine the large scope of being me. The 27th, also, to act in a rational and productive manner. And also, on the 27th, to imagine a fruitful partnership.
27th is key here, guys. Then we have on the horizon a constellation webinar and workshop that leaves you with a bracelet on December 7th. That's a 6-week webinar. We have December 8th. Sandy and I will be in Kohler, Wisconsin for the Yoga on the Lake. It's a talisman ceremony. Don't miss it. Then our Mexico retreat, January 5 to 12, as well as our Bali retreat, April 16th to 27th.
Yes.
We'll wrap up with our house, where we talk about our timeless tales of Thanksgiving, as well as a recap of Sandy's guest appearance.
Yes, this is awesome.
At Dr. Laura Berman's Too Risque for Radio show and podcast.
Got to stay tuned for that one.
So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
You got the keys. You got the keys. You got the keys. You got the keys.
Hey, Mama.
Hey, Al. Here we are again.
Here we are, episode 19.
Big week.
Really?
Man, I can't tell you enough. This is going to be lots of energy floating through, and I'll be making intention bracelets all week long.
Wow. I mean, I'm excited. I'm a little overwhelmed. So let's
I get it.
Let's give this
Let's get into it.
Yeah, the explanation it needs.
So on Thursday, November 22nd, we get the sun moving into Sagittarius exactly at 3:02 a.m. And so that's thanks for all the gifts. Just in time for what? Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, that's so perfect.
Yeah. So it's discovering new worlds. It's expansion, growth. Jupiter has also gone into Sagittarius about a week or two ago. And so that all you Sagittariuses are in for a big spurt, growth year. So my question, will you have growing pains? Right? There's anytime you stretch and move into a new direction, we've all experienced growing pains at some point. So where will your growing pains be located? Then on Saturday, the 24th, we have the planet Neptune stations to go direct. It's been in retrograde since June, and it is now stationing to go forward. And then it retrogrades again in June of 2019. However, I titled that, Which Dreams Are Real? Because, it's Neptune is about dreaming. It's about what's illusion, delusion, unclear.
Dissolvement.
And it's where the spirit likes to kind of permeate the area. We go with the flow. And so, which dreams can you pull into reality? Really, like pull them down. Which ones just have been coming up since this June of, what is that? Like 5 months ago.
The mystic messages.
Right? And so, we want anybody that has a birthday between March 4th and March 9th has this going on for this next 8-month period. So this means that this Neptune is hitting your sun, your natal sun, March 4th through March 9th. So, pay attention to the dreams, these daydreams, journal your dreams. Things may get unclear for you to learn trust and patience. I know I'm going to miss this aspect. This Neptune at 13 degrees Pisces sits right on my natal Mercury at 13 Pisces.
Oh, yeah.
And so I have...
Are you journaling?
No, but my messages just float in. I have enjoyed this Neptune, even my astrologers have astrologers, right? Mm-hmm. And my astrologer was like, make sure you're on time with everything. Pisces don't like to be on time anyway because we think we can fit this much into this much little time. Mm-hmm. But, to really be cognizant of my boundaries and where I need to go, what I need to do, what my functions are. And I have to put I've got notes on the floor. You see them. Mm-hmm. So that I have to like trip over them, pick them up and go, oh yeah, I'm supposed to drink water right now. Right. But it is for my work, for the spiritual readings that I do using the blueprint of the astrological.
Even, your radio show with Dr. Berman.
I mean, I have been honing in on the skills of unseen messages that are just floating through my being. And I'm going to miss this. And hopefully I have trained that skill enough for when this leaves that I remain with this gift that this Neptune gave to my Mercury, right? Because Mercury is the planet of communication. So I wanted to say the one thing about this December 5th, because this planet it's a superior planet, it's moving in direct motion, that about 2 weeks later, December 5th, is when we get to put these dreams into practice. So even though Neptune is moving direct on the 24th, what has come in that we can actually pull down and get serious about it?
Get real.
And get real. And this will occur around this December 5th when Neptune squares the sun after its retrograde cycle. Yeah, so that's kind of big. And then Monday, the 26th, we have the sun and Jupiter cazimi each other.
Right. Well, would it be Jupiter cazimi the sun?
Okay. Yes. Oh. I wrote it. The sun is faster than the Jupiter, but the sun is moving toward Jupiter because it's a faster moving planet, but Jupiter's in the heart of the sun. And this is called cazimi, which means it's 17 degrees of arc. And this happens at 12:34 a.m. on Monday, 26th. And this is take on the week. Because this is a high note. It's a high energy. You'll feel like you'll get up out of bed early. You'll jump out. You'll feel optimistic about everything that you need to do in the week and in the year. So this is a good day to set high heights and jump through those hoops. You'll have all the energy to do that.
Nice.
Of course, most of these are talisman making days for me that I'll review the actual wording in the ceremony. Later that day, well, like 2 hours later at 2:06 a.m., we have Mercury is retrograde and square to Mars.
So that seems like a little bit more challenging.
True. Mercury retrograde, things that you're wanting to say, right? Things that have been here before, like things that you need, that you're reviewing, rewriting. So, and the square can create a little stress and discomfort to Mars. And Mars is a malefic.
Watch that mouth of yours or
Really?
the fist.
Really, like communication may or really probably will get heated. Watch lashing out. Hold your tongue. Go write something down, and then, the burning ceremony, and to burn it over a little bowl of water for as long as you can hold it so that it can disappear. But if, in truth, you have to hold on to whatever it is that you're biting your tongue and it's bleeding and you just can't burn this away, that December 2nd is a really good time to say what you need to say and have an impact, a better impact than either lashing out or getting angry. Because
So
it's
really hitting the target.
Right. It's like, it's now on December 2nd, Mercury is no longer retrograde. Now you have more sense about it. It's not as close to the square to Mars. So you have the ability to say with honesty, this has been bothering me for a while. I need to tell you this.
It's no longer just the frustration. This is
Right.
This is
And
a
you're going to
problem
say
that
it
you
with
have
love and not with pissiness and with a fist.
Right.
Right. Not with anger.
Coming
So-
together for a solution.
Right. And that way I'll have more impact. This is a big day. Oh my gosh. Tuesday, the 27th. Now, this is before we start our podcast. So I'm talking about it in this week's podcast. So getting close to the end of November. Now we have Mercury retrograde cazimi the sun. And this happens at 3:15 a.m. That is one of my talisman making times, and that's early. And this is really what one of my favorite retrograde astrologers. Well, she is the queen of retrograde planets, Erin Sullivan.
Right.
She quotes at this time because it's the cazimi with the retrograde Mercury, to rest and recuperate, to scale down initiatory action and let the subconscious work. Right? Where we take no action. We just let things to marinate. Right? The subconscious is going to do its own work. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to write about it. We don't have to reiterate. It's going to be doing its work kind of behind the scenes where we won't even know. And a little bit later, about 12 hours later, we get the transiting Mars sextile Saturn. And this happens at 3:30 p.m. And this is to act sensibly, of course, rationally. And Saturn says, let's be productive. So this is a really nice time in order to get something done.
Right.
And then an hour later, we have the exact conjunction of the Mercury retrograde is now crossing back and hitting Jupiter. This is at 4:27 p.m. And so there's big thoughts, there's big beliefs, there could be big discussions around, but really this is not a time to act on any of that because it's retrograde. So I just wrote, review and just imagine. Right? Just have that vision.
Right. Or maybe there's like a big kind of test coming up that this is a good time to review some of the things in the past that we need to, that higher knowledge. So going back and re-educating ourselves.
And maybe if you need to take some classes, that you're doing some research on what classes to take, who is going to be your teacher, who's your coach, because that is...
Go back in the archives.
And that on December 21st, this is Mercury's third pass of Jupiter. That's when whatever this imagination has packed together can now start moving forward. That's when the rubber meets the road on these ideas, these thoughts, beliefs, and discussions.
Maybe a snowball of some sort.
Come to a tangible item December 21st, after its third pass hitting Jupiter. But it's going to be big. It's going to be big.
What is that for you?
Yeah.
Good question.
Let's find out. Talisman times are huge.
Just again, I mean, there's a lot going on here.
And really, so many people need this energy. So let's start. And as you know, Alex, I've been following some of the fixed stars, the royal stars, the fixed stars, the great stars, and to pull those into the Talisman times.
And so tell me a little bit about fixed stars. So these are points in a constellation or stars within a constellation.
Yeah. I mean, like we can see planets, but the planets are constantly moving. Some move faster than others, like the moon versus Pluto. And we don't see Pluto at all with our naked eye. We cannot see Pluto, Neptune, nor Uranus without telescope.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fixed stars are literally that. They're the stars that we look up in the dark night and we can see this beautiful star.
Mm-hmm. The blanket of stars.
They're fixed. They're particular constellations that have patterns. And there's mythology behind each one, Roman and Greek mythology behind all of them. And Spica sits right at 24 Libra. And when Venus...
do the fixed stars have a similar story that goes along with the constellation of Libra?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And Spica is a feminine. It's the divine blessing. And Venus, remember, Venus is stationing here after her retrograde cycle. So on Saturday, November 24th, I'll be in Cincinnati. This is the weekend of Thanksgiving. And Venus is moving with Spica at about 24 degrees of Libra. So I need to get this energy at 5:10 a.m. I'm only given about 30 minutes. The intention to bring forth divine blessings of wealth, abundance, and protection. The affirmation: through good fortune and work, I am blessed with all of these essential characteristics. So this is a really awesome one that, someone will wear this talisman and bestow these blessings onto them. The next one is Sunday, November 25th. I'll be in Cincinnati, Ohio for the Thanksgiving weekend. And at 9:18 p.m., I'll go get the energy of the sun and conjuncting Jupiter. And it'll be in the 5th house. And the ruler is Leo, so it makes the sun very happy here and hitting the Jupiter. The intention to shine as if on stage as a bold leader. The affirmation: it's my life's purpose that I expand my heart and chest to radiate outward to and for others.
Yeah, because that's really what a leader is all about.
Right. That's what, Leo, which is ruled with the heart as a rising sign, and then sun over in the 5th house with Jupiter.
I like that one.
Yeah. Now I'm still in Cincinnati at this time. It's Monday morning, November 26th. Now we got Sagittarius rising. So we're still going to get that Jupiter conjunct sun, the cazimi of it, but Sag is rising. So it has a different flair. The intention to end one era and begin another. The affirmation: I welcome this new feeling of wealth and abundance. I also bring in justice, truth, and charity. I am fortified. This is kind of like a whoosh, like a all is good, all is impacted, right? We have on Tuesday, November 27th, now I'm back in Chicago, and the cazimi of Mercury Retrograde, the sun. This is at 12:28 a.m., so this is going to be an early morning. The intention to allow the subconscious to work its magic, just like Aaron Sullivan suggests. The affirmation, I resist advice, suggestions, and opinions that are not mine. My hand is up. I have my answers. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Right?
Plug into that cosmic knowledge.
Yeah, we're using subconscious energy. We already know some things, right? And Mercury retrograde is going, we already know some things. We just have to be reminded and not to always use.
And to tune out the frequencies that we don't need, that we tune into a little too often.
Right, where other people are telling us what to do.
Right.
Right.
Or how to think or how to be.
Yikes, all of that. What else?
More Talisman Times.
I mean, this is like big, big, big. Now, Tuesday, just hours later, again, Tuesday, November 27th at 6:33 a.m. Now, Jupiter is conjunct retrograde Mercury because these are all really tight in, within like a 2-degree conjunction here. And so as one's moving, it's hitting that and going that way and going this and hitting that. So the intention here is to imagine the large scope of myself. The affirmation, when I stand and state my feelings and purpose, my thoughts follow my vision. We are one to the finish. Kind of like that one, right?
Yeah.
There's like mental power.
Teamwork. Camaraderie.
Like mental power. And again, that same day, November 27th, is now we're in the afternoon at 1:24 p.m. Chicago time, Mars sextile Saturn, to act in a rational and productive manner. Very reasonable, right?
Yes.
The affirmation, all is well. My actions reflect my will to be successful in all ways. I consider this work compelling and needed. Right? So that takes on a little bit of a different flair for the day about being
that's a really big day. November 27th is a huge day.
And I'm not done yet.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Oh man.
So still,
a lot of decompression
Tuesday,
after Thanksgiving.
November 27th. Now this is at 3:57 p.m. Now we have the Gemini rising with the Mercury retrograde conjunct Jupiter. Because remember, I can use either one of those rising signs because it just makes the ruler of the rising sign the lord or ruler of the whole chart, which strengthens them in their affirmation. So the intention here, to imagine a fruitful partnership. Affirmation. All I do right now is put my thoughts and visions into order. I see the goal and my ideas develop to achieve this beauty. Because remember, it's a retrograde. So all we're doing is imagining. We're just visioning, right? Like Dr. Joe says, have the ability to see the picture.
Right.
Right? So that's what this talisman will be for. It's not necessarily to take action. It's just to develop the picture that is fuzzy.
Right.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, so that's what's going on in Talisman Times. So, man, if you can join me at any of those and do rituals, you might have to replay some of these,
right?
Because there's a lot going on this week.
Absolutely.
And we have much to be thankful for. This will be after Thanksgiving. So, we'll have had some maybe rest and relaxation around that holiday.
Right.
I know I will, and I'll need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then we have on the horizon, we have our constellation webinar and workshop happening December 7th.
Yep.
If you are interested in that, you can head to our website, and under shop and personal talismans, you will see the whole schedule there, as well as the button to click to register. Also, December 8th, Sandy and I will be in Kohler, Wisconsin at Yoga on the Lake. We welcome everyone to join in because this is going to be a talisman ceremony where you get to hand make your own bead.
Yeah, come on.
Sandy's going to be printing out everyone's chart, giving you a message from the cosmos on that sheet, as well as we're going to be going through a meditation, as well as that ceremony again, which is so powerful. I mean, you're creating this seed.
Everybody
you're creating
gets
this
up
vision.
one at a time and hands me their bead. I roll the bead. They make their statement 3 times aloud
To the rest of the group.
to the group, to their own ears, to spirit, to they're making a claim.
And someone came up to me after one of our workshops and said, there was a clear shift. And this happens a lot. A lot of people come up to me and tell me this, that, ever since you started developing, people repeating it 3 times, they feel a shift in the words.
Yeah.
They feel a shift that their body aligns with it, their mind aligns with it. And there's a confidence there. There's a connection there. And there's also this sense of, when you're standing in front of this huge group, well, it depends.
Yeah.
It's either a huge group or a small group, but you're standing in front of people. So it's probably feels huge.
And saying out loud a dream, a wish, saying it as if you're doing it right now.
But you
right?
have all of these people witnessing you.
Yeah.
And they're also not giving you any judgmental faces or how the hell are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Or, there's nothing there and you're just professing it and you're acknowledging it in the moment and everyone says, and so it is. Where there is no doubt, if you want this, go and get it and be it right here, right now. I think that is a powerful. So we welcome you to come to any one of our events, but the one coming up December 8th is going to be Yoga on the Lake.
I also find that when they would make their claim 1 time, and I started to ask some particular people, I said, could you repeat that again? Because A, they weren't believable. And they have to be. And so it got to be very easy to say that, it's just how we go. Say it 3 times. And every time, that 3rd time is the one that's most believable. They will emphasize one word when they're saying it out loud. When they originally first said it, it wasn't emphasized. Or they'll stand different, or their head will, or they'll just pound their hand on their other hand and say, yes, I am powerful and, ready to make my move. And some they cry. We have to bring tissues.
Right. And we love it because those tears are releasing those beliefs that we're not allowed to say things like that. That's what we're really doing here, is just helping people just say what they want to say to themselves. Yeah. Empower yourself. And all of our workshops, I mean, they're just transformational. And regardless if you're like a believer, and we don't necessarily say like a believer in astrology, but if you use astrology as a tool or not, this is still impactful because we're just talking about humanity here. and also asking you the big question, what do you want to do with this life?
Yeah, you're full of energy. You have a certain amount of energy that you breathed in. And that energy gets abundant, gets limited. It goes through transformation throughout our life. And when you know to tune in, when there's astrological aspects coming up to hit something in your chart, it is a brilliant tool. That's why one reason why I have my residual clients that talk to me sometimes just a half hour every month. Some people an hour, but they just want to say, okay, what do I need to know this month?
Right.
Let's check in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's strengths in those stargates that you unlock for people. I see it. Either if it's the physicality of a talisman bead, or it's those airwaves of those words and those, that feeling of validation and motivation that you can walk out with from a reading.
It's like, it's okay. This is what's going on anyway. So go ahead and feel it.
Right?
Yeah.
Allow yourself to
it's
feel the way
happening.
that you were already feeling, but your whole mind is telling you not to feel that way. So you should be, feeling
You
something
weren't allowed.
different.
Yeah, you weren't allowed.
Right. There's a time and a place for that, and I think that is self-empowerment when we can overcome the emotions that we're feeling to choose the emotion that how we want to step out and how we want to, realign.
Yay us.
Yay.
Yay everyone.
Again, everybody, we will, we're counting down the days to our Mexico retreat. It's going to be a phenomenal time, January 5th to 12th. If you can't make it this year, there's always next year.
We always go back. La Ventana.
It is absolutely beautiful.
Casa
Tara. And we brought on Marcela Ley, who is the owner of the Casa Tara La Ventana Mexico Retreat Center. And she's just a beautiful being. So if you want to just scroll down to the past, astrological interviews, as we call them, and just check out what Marcella has been doing and why she chose her eco luxury, retreat center, the location, what she created the materials with.
Food.
And also we are going to soon be announcing the Bali retreat happening April 16th, tentative dates, April 16th to the 27th. And we can't speak highly enough of Bali. Just the culture, the people, you'll look around sometimes and be like, wait, what?
Right? This is really a real place. And we're offering an early bird special. We'll make that announcement.
So get on our email list. And if you're unsure of how, head to our website. And if you scroll down like half the page, there's going to be a little pop-up that asks you just to put your email in. And know that I never share anyone's emails with anybody.
You don't have time.
I don't have time. I barely have time to write the emails. So yeah, check that out. Sign up for the mailing list if you want to be the first to know about the Bali retreat.
Right.
Then finally, our house. Welcome in.
So I've got two things to talk about during this. It's Thanksgiving. We're getting ready to go. And it's funny because, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday.
It is. It always has
Absolutely.
been. And really, one of the, timeless tales of all of the Thanksgivings that, I had growing up, I loved you always did the same thing. Well, aside from like cooking the Thanksgiving meal like everybody does, but it's so delicious.
But it's the same food.
Oh my gosh.
It's like my grandmother's food.
It is so delicious. And, everyone says that about their own family's Thanksgiving, I hope. But what was really wonderful is that you would always put the turkey in the night before. So you would wake up to this wonderful, just mouth-watering,
and you knew
like you're
what day
already
it was.
hungry and you haven't even been awake.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you're like, wait, what's that smell? It's almost like waking up to the smell of bacon or something. Yeah. But we probably have tons of vegetarians on as our podcast listeners, so apologies, or maybe you don't understand. But the one thing that I always remember that was a consistent part of our Thanksgiving was that we had to exit the house
always
in one shape, form, outfit or another, and do something outside of the house and come back to a prepared meal.
Right. That we were our guests in our own home.
Yes. And I loved that part of it because, we did some really fun things.
We went to the cemetery one time.
We did go to the cemetery one time. We went to the Baha'i temple.
There's not a lot of places to
right.
go.
A lot of places are closed.
Yeah. We would go to a church. Mm-hmm. Didn't matter what religion it was.
We went on a walk sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Baha'i temple, Catholic churches, wherever. And then when we would come back in, you got another whiff of that amazing food that you're about to eat that you've been like just taste testing ever since you've been just working on the stuffing.
And that's where you actually learn to cook.
Yeah, basically.
That is the one meal. Okay.
I'm good at the Thanksgiving meal.
You're excellent at it. And
every other meal, we joke that I am a terrible cook, but I'm getting better at it.
But you are getting better. But the Thanksgiving right, I said being my favorite holiday, that you and I and Andrew have developed a really nice Thanksgiving, here in Evanston. Mm-hmm. And we have our groups of friends that attend. And and then last year, my mom says, who kind of gave up doing Thanksgiving because she has 30 people over.
I was traveling to Trinidad and Tobago. And so I think you were a little displaced.
And so my mom goes, hey, San, are you thinking what I'm thinking? I'm like, I don't know, Mom, throw it at me. I'm thinking about having one last Thanksgiving. And I said, that's excellent. Let's have one last Thanksgiving. I like the title of that, I guess. So we did it. And my sister and all of us gathered, and we had 37 people in my mom's house again, like we used to, but now everybody's older. And it went so brilliantly. So about June of this year, my mom's like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. You want to have one last Thanksgiving? She goes, let's do it again. Well, so we're heading down. And now you're gone. You're going to be with Dr. Joe in the UK. So I'm still displaced. It's like I still don't have anybody to cook for. But anyway, that's my Thanksgiving. I'm loving going back to Cincinnati, Ohio, to help celebrate a beautiful celebration, especially with my dad back home.
And a welcoming home for Poppy.
Yeah.
So also, I wanted, we have a limited time to catch up on things, but a couple or 3 weeks back, you were on the Dr. Laura Berman radio show.
And her podcast. The Too Risque for Radio. So how funny is this? So Dr. Laura Berman's from Chicago. I mean, that she had her practice here, a major presenter on Oprah.
Everybody knows who she is.
She's written books. She's like the wisdom keeper of, sexual relationships, right? Sex therapist. And so I'm working with her one-on-one as we're building her personal intention bracelet. We're making a talisman for Dr. Laura. And, we had our consult, we're working together, and she's like, hey, if you're out here, of course, we know her birthday, right? Because I'm working with her birthday information. She's like, I'm having a birthday party for myself. Could you come? And she lives in LA now. And I was like, weirdly happened to be flying in that day for another thing I had to do. And so I went to her birthday party, met with the producer, and they invite me to the radio/podcast a couple days later. So they had this great idea and said, okay, we're going to take calls on radio, and you will get you the birth information on each of the callers, and you can answer questions on air. And I just went, I won't. And I'm like, remember I called you? I'm like, Alex, calm me down.
In that moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
That means my teeth are chattering.
Okay.
And so I was like, Alex, help me here. I don't know how to respond here because I really don't want to be I've never done that before. Oh my God, I can't do that. I don't want questions that are asked on air about, is my husband cheating on me? Or, is this a tumor? Like I couldn't handle. I can
see how that's nerve-wracking, yeah.
And so I calmed down and I said, well, first of all, I have to say, of course, Dr. Laura, of course you do that. And of course, I will gladly do that. And we ended up coming up with a great idea where we did a giveaway. And I did their charts in advance. And so picked out an orbit necklace that I thought each would benefit from based on what transits they're having in their natal chart. And so here we get going. And I had written a couple choices for each of the listeners and callers. So we get the caller in, and Dr. Laura would, welcome them. And do you have your question for Sandy? And she would give me the question. I would oh, yep, exactly. I'm pointing over to my screen going, yep, that makes sense that she's asking this. Oh, yeah. And as I'm talking, Dr. Laura is getting these downloads of saying the same thing with a mystic twist. And it's got to be so much fun that Dr. Laura would go first. She would ask the caller would ask the question. Dr. Laura would give her opinion, like her advice, her mystic advice, and then I'd come over to the chart and it would be the exact same thing. So it was like we're high-fiving off camera, and because there was no camera, except that her social media girl was there.
Well, she did.
Yeah.
She posted on Instagram. If you go to Dr. Laura Berman's Instagram, you'll be able to see a little snippet of them kind of basically like pushing each other, being like, what? You thought that? I thought that?
Yeah, it was so fun. So
cool.
Hopefully when I go back out there, I'll pop on for another giveaway, phone in astrology questions.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know when that happens.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a ball.
So I think that concludes our episode here tonight.
Let's get to Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving all. I want to thank you all so very much, because this is me giving my thanks right now. Just how incredible our listening, audience is.
And growing.
Thank you guys for sharing with your friends. Thank you for all of these beautiful reviews that we're seeing on iTunes. Keep them coming.
Thank you.
Post about us on, Instagram. We love to hear like the ceremonies that you guys are doing, or how you're incorporating this knowledge into your life, because that's what we're doing here. So thanks again for listening to this episode of Astrological Intentions. We will see you next week, and we'll talk to you then.
Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everyone.